Childhood trauma is a common subject to talk about here on YouTube. If there's anything that we were scared of as a kid, it always derived from one of the most mundane places ever. Sometimes it would be because of a scary episode of your favorite childhood TV show, and others were probably from a scary scene from a children's movie like The Return to Oz, which, holy crap, that movie had no chill. Some of the content that I'll be showing you guys might not be scary to you, but to me, man, they still hold up to this very day. And we're gonna start off with a very weird one here. Okay, hear me out on this. Blue's Clues. Fucking Blue's Clues. It is an absolute classic of a children's show. So how the hell is a show about a blue dog and their green striped wearing problem-solving owner traumatizing? Well, you see, in the episode Animal Behavior, Steve and Blue transport themselves into a virtual computer game.
Blues can too, we can too.
They encounter the character Lady Gooddiver, who takes them on a submarine adventure where the two characters in the audience watch from home are tasked to find hidden fishes in the ocean. As fun as it sounds through the eyes of a child, execution-wise, holy shit, was it unnecessarily frightening to watch. This very moment right here is probably one of the reasons why I am scared of the ocean. Let's start with how the episode is handled. You see, it's not just the designs of the fishes that rub me the wrong way, but it's the way they pop out of their hiding spots that trigger me. I mean, just look at it.
I know you're pooping.
And on top of that, the music that plays in sync with the reveal, it's almost like a jump scare to me. Even worse is that there's this brown fish swimming around as it's almost about to murder a school of fish. Even Steve looks concerned. Anyways, as ridiculous as it sounds, again, childhood trauma comes from some of the most mundane places ever, and mine just so happens to be from Blue's Clues. Okay, let's change things up a bit. Let's talk about a video game. Metroid Fusion, one of my all-time favorite Game Boy Advance games. The graphics and gameplay still hold up to this very day. And the music is so haunting yet entrancing at the same time. It's by far one of my favorites to come out of the Game Boy Advance soundtracks. However, many who've played the game can remember one specific character that easily haunted many gamers in the past. If you haven't played this game, then let this be a warning to you. Everyone watching at home, let me introduce you to Samus X. This screenshot alone was so unwarrantedly shocking that I literally turned off my console the first time I saw that image. You know those bad creepypasta stories about haunted games that are basically like, every copy of this game is personalized? Well, Metroid Fusion managed to channel that feeling when I was 6 years old. I almost felt like my Game Boy Advance was haunted after encountering Samus X. And whenever the character appears in-game, we have to run for our lives. It is literally an NPC on steroids. It wants you dead, and it has no motivation why. It is as close to a horror game on the Game Boy Advance than any other game that I could think of. And yeah, sure, it's supposed to be scary. Metroid is basically a cosmic horror game, but come on, when you're seeing this at the age of 6, it's completely out of nowhere, and honestly, even closing my eyes, I could still see the unnerving blank stare from Samus X. Have you ever been scared of a book from your childhood? Well, for me, I know one, and it's called Coraline. Coraline is a story about a girl named Coraline Jones who moves into the Pink Palace, where she uncovers a very unnerving mystery involving an alternate dimension similar to hers, but everyone has buttons for eyes. Created by Neil Gaiman, of course this is a horror story, but it isn't the horror story that freaked me out the most. No. Guess what really scared me? Like, take a wild guess. It wasn't the illustrations of the book, the other mother, the dead ghost girls. No. It was the damn cover of the book. When I first saw this cover, I legit shed tears. No joke. I mean, just look at it. The design of Coraline is just so bizarre that my childhood self thought that Coraline was some sort of evil poltergeist. And who could blame me? Why would they draw Coraline like this? Yeah, it's a very iconic design, but at the same time, I literally thought Coraline was the main antagonist. Like, I thought they were the monster of this story. Like, literally, the character is standing in the middle of a black room with nothing but a candle in their hand. Sort of reminds me of that scene from The Conjuring. And what makes it even worse are the creepy hands that come from behind her. God, this book cover was just so terrifying to look at. Like, I heard of people being scared of pictures of Shel Silverstein, but have you ever heard of anyone being scared of the cover for Coraline before? I much rather prefer the graphic novel cover over the original. Can you imagine the Coraline movie having them with those small eyes? But as much as I hate the cover of Coraline, nothing will ever surpass my final traumatic childhood experience. What you're about to see is by far the most disturbing thing I have ever witnessed as a child, and you'll never guess where it came from. The final spot goes to an episode of Between the Lions, a Jim Henson TV show starring a family of lions who run a library. This show was great and it taught kids how to read and spell. Think of it like a mashup between Sesame Street and Reading Rainbow. However, it's in one episode titled The Old Man that truly made me not want to watch the show anymore. In the episode, the recurring character Babs is an aspiring writer but needs the help of the lion family to help her write a short story. The short story is centered around an old man who lives in an old house. Simple, right? But what makes this worse is when we actually see the old man for the first time. Yeah. Why does the old man look like that? Like, I get it, they're an old person, but going off script right here, I'm just perplexed. Like, I thought the Coraline cover was scary. This right here takes the cake. And it's just like, why are you looking at the screen, sir? Like, are they aware that they have an audience watching them? It's just so unnerving. And the fact that this individual looked completely different the first time we saw them was absolutely, like, insane to me, because at first glance they looked like a regular old man, but when we actually saw them face first right in front of us, they looked completely different. Almost like a freaking, like, I really don't know. I'm just, again, I'm going off script here. This isn't in the script. I'm just confused by this. I know I'm kind of being over dramatic here, but at the same time, it's just like, what am I looking at? And it gets worse. Like, it gets worse. I know I keep saying that throughout the video, but it gets worse, trust me. So Babs isn't satisfied with her story and needs more content to make it interesting. So let's throw in some aliens. And do we actually see the aliens? No! No, we don't! Instead, we see an alien version of the old man, which makes it even more scarier. Like, who is this man? Where did he come from? What's his name? Why does he live in an old house? Is he an alien? It kind of makes sense. He's probably posing as a human being because of how uncanny his face looks. Just look at those eyes. Like, oh my gosh. They're just looking right into my soul. I think that's kind of a reoccurring thing within this video. Just various creatures just looking straight at you. And I honestly think that's kind of what makes a lot of things scary in a way. Like, think about it real quick. You don't get scared when a monster or a scary individual looks away from you because you know the threat isn't coming at you. But when they look at you, you know you're in trouble. And those eyes are just giving me mixed messages. So yeah, I think I'm just scared of them because of the fact that they're just looking straight towards me. behind a screen, on a piece of paper, either in a children's cartoon or a video game. Looking back, they don't scare me as much, but sometimes we look back and say to ourselves, why were we so scared of that thing? And to reflect on our adulthoods, sometimes we're kind of still scared of it even to this very day, even if it came from something so mundane.